Imagine you're working for an airline at the airport at one of those desks where people check their luggage and you help them print their boarding passes. You're doing your job when a woman walks up with her 2-year-old golden doodle, ready to catch her flight. Except she didn't complete the required travel documents for the dog. Then, rather than arranging care for the dog or for somebody to pick up the dog, she just walks away, leaving the dog tied to a ticket counter as she proceeds to her gate for boarding. What do you do? This really happened in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. Keep listening to Formosa Fauna to find out what happened next. Spend the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can become smarter than all of your friends. Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. Hello, I'm Tristan Hildebrand, the voice of Formosa Fauna. I love animals and I just love talking about them. I never get sick of this. You can learn so many things about them and it's still interesting. Even if you're remotely curious, just remotely curious about the animal kingdom, you're in the right place. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about what happens when you abandon your pet at the airport, animal abuse registries, Taiwan's 4-meter-long giant pythons, Taiwan's 4 million NT dollar eco-friendly toilets, and so much more. So let's dive right in. Just like I said at the beginning of the episode, one woman, finding out that she didn't have the proper documentation for her golden doodle 2-year-old dog, decided to ditch the dog and catch the flight without arranging for the dog's care. When it comes to cases of abandonment as an animal lover and a pet owner, I think my first instinct would be to track the owner down, make sure they take the pet with them. The dog is going to be heartbroken being left behind, but then another instinct kicks in saying, hello, if they're willing to ditch their dog so nonchalantly, I don't want them to be forced to take the dog. They're just going to do it again, and likely someplace where nobody will see, know, intervene, or ever, maybe in unfortunate cases, ever find out. Well, here's what happened at the Nevada airport near Las Vegas. Airport staff and police quickly discovered the frightened dog tied near a JetBlue ticket counter and ensured he was safe until Animal Protection Services stepped in and took over. They nicknamed the dog, appropriately, JetBlue, while he was placed on mandatory hold while authorities waited to see if he would be claimed. He was well taken care of and very popular with his caretakers until he was transferred to Retriever Rescue of Las Vegas. Some posts to social media later, and JetBlue had thousands of adoption inquiries from across the United States from people who were heartbroken and disgusted at how easily his owner left him behind. Funny enough, the officer who first responded to the incident had been approved months earlier to adopt a golden doodle through that same rescue and decided to adopt him and give him a forever home once the legal hold ended. Las Vegas police later confirmed that his owner was arrested on charges including animal abandonment. While part of this story is so jolting, I can't imagine ever doing that to one of my furry family members, ever. Not even one of my friends, not even a stranger's. Never. I also do feel a sense of relief reading this story because little JetBlue found where he needed to be, a better family in the end, and the world just works in mysterious ways like that sometimes. While we're on the topic of pet neglect, we can shift over to another big topic in the news this month regarding animal abuse. It's another overall positive one, so don't worry too much. New York State's Livingston County established an animal abuse registry, which will contain the names, photos, convictions, and addresses of offenders. Those required to register will have to pay a fee and keep their information up to date. The law was approved during the Livingston County Board of Supervisors meeting late January following a public hearing and took effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. County Sheriff Tom Dougherty says failure to provide proper food and drink, carrying an animal in a cruel manner, poisoning or an attempt to poison an animal, clipping or cutting the ears of dogs, and companion animal stealing are just some of the animal abuse charges under the law. Animal shelters, rescues, dog breeders, and anyone in the community can view the registry because, as Dougherty says, someone who is convicted of abusing an animal should never be able to own an animal again. The sheriff says it's a huge step towards stopping animal abuse by not just bringing those in the shadows to light, exposing what they've done, but also prohibiting them from being able to do it again. All offenders must register within 5 business days of release from incarceration or from the date of conviction. Failure to comply is a Class A misdemeanor, carrying fines upwards of $1,000 and or up to 1 year in prison. Offenders on the registry who are found in ownership of another animal in the county will face up to a year in jail and or a fine of up to $5,000 just for the ownership. Fines collected will directly support the care and protection of animals through the county's Humane Society and other cruelty prevention organizations designated by the Board of Supervisors. More county legislators are considering adding the animal abuse registry themselves, which Dougherty strongly encourages. About half of all counties in New York State have adopted an animal abuse registry. This makes it even easier for other counties and states to adopt them as the framework is already in place, the legal terms are already in place, and it's a very well-supported cause. For decades now in the United States, there has been a push to enact a nationwide animal abuser registry, which has not yet come to fruition. However, maybe this is the right approach because it's been sort of taking off recently, and more counties, they go one by one, just adding an animal abuse registry. So perhaps it's easier to do. Researchers from National Taiwan University have uncovered evidence that giant pythons once lived in what's now southern Tainan after finding a fossilized vertebra in coastal mudflats that point to a snake that was nearly 4 meters long. 4 meters long, or for the Americans out there, that's 13 feet long. And at the time, they were just out roaming around during Taiwan's prehistoric era in the wetlands. The bone was unearthed in the Chiting Formation, a rich fossil site dating back to the Middle Pleistocene, roughly 800,000 to 400,000 years ago. Scientists identified the fossil as python based on distinctive features of the vertebra, marking the first confirmed python fossil in Taiwan. Using 3D modeling, the team determined that this ancient python outweighed any modern Taiwanese snake species by far and likely played a key role as a top predator. During that era, Tainan's landscape was dominated by lush wetlands and supported a diverse range of large animals, including saber-toothed cats, giant crocodiles, and mega herbivores such as rhinos and stegodonts. Ideal hunting grounds for a massive constrictor. Scientists believe shifts in climate during the Pleistocene, marked by repeated glacial cycles, eventually wiped out these giant snakes, along with many of their prey species, leaving a lasting gap in Taiwan's ecosystem. Today, Taiwan has more than 50 snake species, but none approach the size of this ancient find. While large constrictors no longer exist in Taiwan's wild, occasional big snakes such as Burmese pythons have appeared in recent years as escaped or released pets. Please don't do that. With individuals ranging up to about 3 meters or 10 feet, and those were found in Zhanghua and Miaoli. So they still do not measure up to this fossil. Who knows what other paleontological discoveries are lurking beyond the surface, waiting to be discovered in Taiwan. We need to talk about Taiwan's 4 million NT dollar eco-friendly toilets. The Taipei City Environmental Protection Department has completed a 4 million NT dollar, which is about $125,000 solar-powered public restroom in Zhuzihu, located in Yangmingshan, as one of the 72 facilities being upgraded across the city. The department said the renovations are part of a broader effort to transform city-managed restrooms into cleaner, more accessible, and more pleasant public spaces. According to the department's commissioner, the goal is to meet international standards and better serve an aging population. One updated facility near Yuanshan Riverside Park, which is actually nearby where Radio Taiwan International records where I am right now, but near the Yuanshan Riverside Park is the Zhongshan number 14 toilet, and it now features bright white walls and wooden lattice accents that help it blend in with the park environment. Improvements there included modernized toilets and sinks, along with a new ventilation window to boost natural light and airflow. Officials say the site sees roughly 1,000 visitors on weekdays, many of whom come for exercise or cycling. In the Dinghu area of Zhuzihu, the newly built restroom caters to hikers and visitors who come to see the calla lilies. That structure was designed to fit naturally into the landscape and reduce environmental impact. It's made with lighter steel instead of concrete to cut down on structural weight and energy needs, and solar panels on the roof supply renewable power. The Zhongshan number 14 renovation costs about 2 million NT dollars, while the Zhuzihu's project $4 million NT dollar price tag for that covered the new construction. The city plans to continue improving other restrooms and installing cameras outside the facilities to deter littering and vandalism. Just recently in Taiwan, a group of 11 pygmy killer whales was discovered stranded on a beach in Pingdong County's Checheng Township, with local residents spotting the mammals at around 7 a.m. and alerting authorities. The Coast Guard quickly responded, sending teams to secure the site and keep onlookers at a safe distance so the animals wouldn't be further disturbed. By the time the rescuers arrived, though, 7 whales were still alive, and that left 4 to make the 11, so 4 had sadly passed away. According to Tu Chanlong of the Coast Guard's Coastal Patrol, about 26 personnel and 11 vehicles from multiple organizations were mobilized to help, including the National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium, National Cheng University's Marine Biology and Cetacean Research Center, and officials from the Pingdong County Government's Agriculture Department. To care for the survivors, responders followed standard rescue protocols. They wrapped the whales in damp towels and kept their skin cool and moist with seawater while specialists monitored their vital signs and conducted further assessments. The Coast Guard also advised the public on what to do if they ever encounter a stranded whale or dolphin, which is to help the animal right itself, keep it wet, and take note of its breathing and heartbeat. People were urged not to stand too close to the animals' heads or tails, expose them to direct sun or wind, try to push or pull them, or make loud noises, and again, just repeated, hey, report these events by calling the Coast Guard's 118 hotline. If you're in Taiwan and you run across a stranded whale or dolphin or something of the sort, just give a call over to the Coast Guard's 118 hotline. Pygmy killer whales are among the smallest species of whales by name and usually live in deep tropical and subtropical waters. They are rarely seen near the shore, and actually little is known about their habitat outside of a known resident population in Hawaiian waters. The Ocean Conservation Administration noted that several strandings of this species have occurred along southwestern Taiwan in recent springs, though the exact causes remain unclear. Sightings of the whales also occasionally occur in the waters off Yilan, Hualien, Taidong, as well as around Guishan Island, Green Island, and Lanyu. Taiwan is an island that is 70% covered by mountains, lakes, and jungle. Taiwan's early connections to the Pacific and Southeast Asia are well established and are the basis of seeing Taiwan as an ocean nation. Down in the ocean, wow, deep in the deep sea where no light penetrates the ocean waves, did you know that there are over 17,000 species that thrive in that deep sea in no light? or that there are 38,000 different kinds of microbes in just 1 liter of seawater. These were all discoveries made by the Census of Marine Life, a 10-year international effort that assessed the diversity, distribution, and abundance of marine life. There is plenty more out there to discover in the sea, so tune in next week and we'll talk more about it. The Animal Conservationist of the Week. Margaret Marty Murray, who was born in 1902 and passed away in 2003, a very long life, was deemed the grandmother of the conservation movement. She promoted the 1964 Wilderness Act, which protected 9.1 million acres of federal land, and created the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, whose 19 million acres make it the largest national wildlife refuge in the United States. Her and her husband, Olas, spent their honeymoon studying birds and traveling some 500 miles via dog sled to research caribou populations. In 1998, 5 years before she passed, Murray received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her environmentalism efforts. So, the next time you think of an animal conservationist, keep Margaret Marty Murray in mind. I need some advice. Please tell me what to do. I have been feeding a very cute and grateful black cat outside of my apartment. I actually caught this cat and brought him in to be sterilized and vaccinated. So we've known each other for a couple years now. And just over the past few months, he's been coming to my apartment regularly. At first, the first couple months, he didn't realize that he could just meow when he got to my door and I would give him food. But he eventually figured that out. So now he meows several times a day to get food, which is fine, you know. But he also went from a feral cat to a cat that just adores being pet. So, not only will he meow multiple times a day to get food, he's also now meowing to get pets. And I already have 2 cats of my own and 1 foster cat, so I'm not really looking to adopt another one. But last night, I'm running on 2.5 hours of sleep because it was 2 a.m. and he was outside the door howling, crying like a baby. The whole neighborhood heard it. And not only that, he started scratching the door, which is like, okay. But then he jumped up as high as he could and he scratched all the way down the door. And I think he's trying to open the door with the handle. So what do I do? Send help by writing an email to tristan@rti.org.tw. That is tristan@rti.org.tw. Making it to the end of an episode makes you a Formosa Fauna friend. Thank you for tuning in, friend. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.